Hello everyone, Mark the Movie Maniac here, and today we're going to take a look at a film I was debating on seeing. It's a found footage film, and I was like, I don't know, but it was $5 Tuesday. I wanted to go to the theater to see a movie, so I ended up seeing As Above, So Below. Yes, the found footage film that tells us the story of Scarlett, who tries to continue the work that her father did in investigating and finding a lost artifact. And her investigation takes her to the catacombs below Paris, where the person documenting her investigation, her friend, as well as their tour guides, which take them to the forbidden parts of the catacombs, find more than they bargained for in the catacombs under Paris, as they find themselves in the bowels of hell. Yes, folks, As Above, So Below. John Eric Dowdle is not at all a stranger to found footage films. He gave us actually the well-done Poughkeepsie Tapes and Quarantine as well. So he knows how to handle this material. And I will say, for 90% of this film, you had me. Which is hard to say for a found footage film. Usually I don't care for them too much. But I enjoyed the story. One, because it's based in magic and alchemy. And I really loved that. You don't see that often in found footage films. So, especially found footage horror films. Usually it's a slasher type thing or something. So here, the fact that they were going into archaeology and looking into alchemy and that, I loved that bit of it. They gave it a really rich story, and at times it felt kind of like a national treasure from the first person point of view. We've got this person, Scarlett, played by Perdita Weeks, and Scarlett is the person who's continuing her father's work, and I loved her strong female character. She stays strong throughout this film, determined to complete her mission, basically, and nothing stands in her way. She's willing to risk life or death of her or the people around her just so she can accomplish her task, her goal. And I really liked that, and that really came across on screen, and enjoyed her performance quite a bit. You got Ben Feldman in here playing her buddy George, who is the more reluctant one, the one who doesn't really want to go on the catacombs, who really thinks this is a bad idea, that they should be investigating these things. And so, he's the softer of the two characters, and so I thought I liked that a little bit switch up in that type of character. And then you get Edwin Hodge in here, who plays Benji, the guy who's documenting everything. He's from The Purge. And the Benji character is great. He is great counterbalance to the other two, because he's the one just filming this stuff, and he's kind of the voice where he's like, we'll shoot everything, and he's the one prepared with the lights, with the cameras on him, and he's got a great scene in there as well, where it gets a little bit claustrophobic for him, and he plays it off so well. You feel that fear coming through, that being scared of possibly being buried alive, which it does capture. It captures the claustrophobic feel of being in these tunnels for a good chunk of the early part of the film when we're introduced to the catacombs. Not so much later on, but definitely early you get that feeling of claustrophobia, similar to what we had in Crawl or Die. So they accomplished that there. Setting up the creepy environment in the catacombs, perfect, beautiful, great atmosphere. I really, they've got this creepy woman that shows up, and kind of this cult down there too, and really spooky. I mean, just make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, So they've got great things that set up the environment and everything, and the story was rich, and I was behind this film just 100% until like the last 10 minutes. Then the character does something, and something happens in the film that just makes me go, oh, come on. You had me. You had me engrossed. I was really getting into it, and you go and do this with the character, okay? And I understand kind of why they did it, but they could have gone about it a completely different way. And the very end, I did like how the final scenes played out, but that little section just before the end really just didn't sit well with me. I'm like, really? And another thing with this story is it's a great story. It's a great setup. I almost wish they hadn't done it completely found footage, because some of that shaky cam and that did get annoying and distracting, like it does in a lot of found footage films. I was hoping they would kind of do a mixture of regular, normal cinematic, photography and cinematography, and then cut in with found footage bits. Kind of a mixture of both. both. And I wish they kind of had done that, because I think it really would have added to this film and not quite been quite as distracting, and maybe more people would have liked it. I enjoyed it for the most part, except for that section in there and the fact, well, it was found footage where, again, I wish this story hadn't been. Performances were good overall. Direction was decent. I have to give it 2 3/4 stubs. Not quite 3. Sorry, but that ending just got to me. That section just before the final scene just got to me too much. And I was just like, oh, it was almost like they kind of rushed it and couldn't quite figure out how to get out of the story. I'm not sure. I just know that had they not done it that way, I would have probably given it a stronger rating, but I can only give it 2 3/4 stubs, not quite 3. If you can get to it for $5 Tuesday, go for it. You probably will feel that you got your money's worth. Otherwise, wait for it on rental or maybe video on demand. Definitely not worth the full price of admission, though. And that'll about do it for us here at The Final Cut. Till next time, folks, remember, keep that ticket stub.